Today's matchup. Dark. DRG. Astrea. ByuN. Round of 16. Group C.
Africa TV, Freak Up Studio, live. 2023 GSL Season 3.
And we're back. DRG versus ByuN is how we're going to close the evening out. Look, Astrea put up a great fight. He does seem to be in pretty good shape, but he was not able to deliver in what I think was a pretty hard group, to be honest. A lot of great players here in Group C. Now we go to DRG versus ByuN. ByuN has looked really scary. Like, I know he got 2-0'd by Dark, but man, did it look like he had some plans for this matchup. And I want to see how similar these ByuN games are that he had versus Dark to the ones that he's going to have now versus DRG.
Yeah, ByuN looks to be playing some explosive TBZ styles, kind of going back to his roots. I was wondering if we would see him incorporate the new Cyclone a little bit more in TBZ, but I guess ByuN just not really jiving with that unit right now. Kind of opting for his classic 2 barracks on the low ground, maybe occasionally mixing it up with a 3rd barracks for Reapers or a 3rd barracks for a Marine pumping. And yeah, as you said, the games didn't go particularly well against Dark, but I love the openings that he went for. I feel like you put them up against a lesser Zerg, and you're probably going to be walking away with a win. So very curious to see how his style is going to match up against DRG.
Look at ByuN. It looks like he's really thinking about what he's going to do in that game. I mean, he knows that DRG saw the way he plays, so it's not like you can just be like, well, I'm going to do another pressure attack build, but maybe you can.
Maybe he's wondering when he should proxy Surax this game.
Yeah.
At what point do I throw down 3 barracks in the middle of the map?
Could be. And we're actually ready to go into this game right now, guys. This is the final best of 3 of Group C. Let's do it.
Club NV, DRG.
It rhymes.
Shopify Rebellion, ByuN.
Let's see if ByuN gets this wall-in right. Do you remember when we watched Mario play and the Lings just went past the reactor in the supply depot here on the, the low ground? Alcyone's a hard map to wall on the natural on. I gotta say, it feels a little bit funky. I think it's like 1 tile smaller than it usually is, and it's kind of far forward. And even when I'm playing my ladder games, okay, yeah, he knows head-on's gonna go right there.
So he got 2 gases. So
sorry, wait, say again. Oh, ByuN has 2 gases, you're right.
Got 2 gases. So he's not doing his normal 2 racks wall-in style of play.
Oh, interesting.
Now, Zerg did not send a drone out or anything, so he's not going to see the 1 racks just yet. But I think that if there's one style of play that is more associated with a player than anything else, it would be ByuN's 2 racks versus Zerg. So
I love this.
This is cool. And so he's got a factory at the very the top part of the map above where the Zerg is. ByuN is making Marines, and I would imagine we're going to have a starport made after that factory over there.
Yeah, you might think it's going to be a starport, but a second factory. This is a Cyclone all-in.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure this is a Cyclone all-in coming in.
Oh, I really like this.
Oh, that looks like it's the first factory, too. It looks like it's a slow gas build.
Yeah.
It barracks into a factory on the low ground. Oh, ByuN is so smart. This is going to be a lot of fun.
I got to go back. When we saw ByuN sitting in the chair, it looked like he was really like, okay, what do I do?
I'm going to build Cyclones.
Yeah,
he's browsing StarCraft Reddit, reading the thread with his hand on his chin.
They seem to think this is unstoppable.
Oh, is this double reactor? I think the factory at the top left, I think it's going to be double reactor Cyclone. Oh, this could be crazy.
Quad clones.
I wonder if you can actually support that many Cyclones, or are you also going to be mixing in Hellions with us? I'm very curious. Could double Cyclone here?
Yeah, that's a good point. You probably could do double Hellion if you wanted to.
I haven't seen
Oh.
this exact build. DRG pushing forward. Again, he might think that this is the first factory. He doesn't have an Overlord confirming the scout either in the main base or the natural. Yeah, it's going to be double factory reactor Cyclone. 4 Cyclones about to pop. Drones in production right now for DRG.
Oh my God.
Oh, is he
He's
going to spot
it. Does he go left or does he go down?
Oh
No!
my God! Let's go! And the SCVs are getting pulled for repair too. Okay, this is crazy. If DRG doesn't start Lings right now,
Dude, ByuN has all the builds.
this is wild. And that Overlord's gonna die. All right, he's at 51 of 66, so he should still be able to produce units. But DRG right now on 3 hatches. This is the first time he's making Lings after that initial swarm. Cyclones locking onto the Queens. But with the repair, they have a lot of staying power here.
Yeah, the Lings are going to come out. They need to get in the way. The Micro's looking pretty good.
Oh, the repair!
Oh, no.
This is getting out of hand really quick, Tasteless.
So funny watching these SCVs ring around these Cyclones.
Yeah.
And this might be the point of critical mass here, where it's like there's just enough. The first Cyclone falls, but there's 4 more in the mail.
Yeah, and there's only 1 Cyclone of all these falling. DRG losing drones, losing Overlords. I think the 3rd Overlord is about to fall. Oh man, drones getting pulled. Drones do not counter Cyclones.
This one's for you, Reddit. This is
Wow.
finally getting your red meat over here.
What a build.
This is pretty sick. He's going to take down these Lings.
How many more are in production? Because a lot
That's
of these are
it.
low. Not enough.
Done. ByuN wins.
You guys on Reddit thought that you were having a hard time with Cyclone builds in CBT already.
Yeah, well,
Wait until this
what
one
if
hits
you
the
make,
ladder.
4 of them? Huh? How about that?
Wait until this one hits the ladder.
You bunch of scientists. How are we going to do that? What if you just only make them? What about that? What do you mean? Like 2 out of 2 barracks? Try 4 out of 2.
Oh, that's so cool. That's fun.
Well, yeah, that's an annoying way to lose. I can tell you what, DRG's like, this is just quite the group. The builds this guy's having to deal with.
I gotta say, DRG is not having a good time right now. Yes,
No.
he just beat Astrea, but remember that game 3, he was not happy with the way that one went. He was shaking his
Well,
head.
also, he almost beat Dark, too. I mean, this is like, he's going through the ringer right now. All right, now what if he made, 3 factories and made 5 Cyclones because he didn't get a reactor on one? Yes.
I would be surprised if we see a Cyclone opening like that one again.
No, he's just going to do the game he did in Build 1 versus...
He's going to go to 3 barracks?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
It's like right back to 3-rack Reaper. All right, guys, game 2. Let's do this. DRG versus ByuN continues on.
Club NV DRG. Shopify Rebellion ByuN.
I love how you pointed out, like, the game before the Cyclone build just has his hand on his chin, scratching his chin, like, what should I do?
Which number's higher, 3 Cyclones or 4 Cyclones? 4. Uh-oh.
I think it's
He's
just
doing a throwback.
Yeah,
He's not
throwback to
going to
2
do a
hours
Cyclone
ago.
build. I remember this from earlier tonight.
Throwback to 2 hours
2
ago.
barracks is at the entrance.
Will he get the 3rd one in the main?
I just want to know if he's going to wall in next time with 2 factories and do the Cyclone build again, and we're just going to see all the builds kind of converge together.
I actually think he's rallying to build the barracks right now. Oh, he baited me. That rally, it looked like he was rallying to build the barracks,
that one was
man.
just to get the casters. He just winks the camera. He's like, I'm everywhere.
All right, now he throws down the 3rd racks. Of course, we get it off screen. Yeah, this is a throwback. He did this in
He did this earlier today.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember exactly the build order setup though, because both games were 3 racks, right? But one was.
It was Reapers into I want to say 7 Reapers into a bunch of Marines, and then he had a couple tactics that he set up where it looked like, you know, maybe his stuff would get, you know, it was exposed to being surrounded when in fact it was a setup. And then he pulled SCVs.
Yeah.
And then he lost the game.
This game's kind of...
I've got it down.
It sounds good. Maybe you should do that again.
Photographic memory of this. They call me the caster elephant because I got a memory like an elephant.
I have a problem whenever I'm casting where I can't. If you ask me like what happened like game 1 ByuN versus Dark, I probably
Actually,
can't remember.
Me and Artosis, like we tested this. We actually have not been able to remember every single game when we get out of the studio for a cast. There's some like part of your brain where you're trying to soak all this up.
Yeah, but it's different. If I watch somebody else cast,
yeah,
or I watch
easy.
it be streamed,
Yeah.
I like photographic memory. I know exactly what happened and when. But yeah, it's odd. It's an odd quirk.
So the first Reaper's out, and we do have the third hatchery being made just south of this screenshot here. Oh, ByuN, you're so greedy.
He makes it work. I mean, how often do you see ByuN lose Reapers in that kind of situation?
That's
Almost
true.
never.
He's probably the best Reaper user in the whole world.
Yeah, he's single-handedly trying to get them nerfed again, it feels. He loves his Reapers.
CC coming down. Slowling's inbound here to intercept. Are they in the same bushes?
Yeah, they're in the same bushes. He's like, I saw Dark do this against you.
Dark,
I'm going to get the Reaper the same
I have
way.
Dark's powers now.
I wonder how much of that's actually for him watching Dark. All right, hatchery does get canceled.
A good last-second save.
Yeah.
Well, you just bank Reapers behind. You know, the Raxes. Now, we literally saw mostly the same game happen in these same spawns earlier.
Yeah.
So
it's a little different this time. This time, instead of going for combat shields and stim with a Marine push and a delayed engineering bay, we're getting the engineering bay really quickly. We only have 1 tech lab on the barracks instead of 2. So there should be more Marines, and I'm expecting this to not quite hit as early as the first push did, and I'm curious exactly how ByuN is going to try and play out of it. But again, just talking about planning for a best of X series, the fact that Dongregyu watched the first games between ByuN and Dark,
Yeah.
and this looks exactly the same to that. Even if he gets a scout into the main base and if he sees that third barracks, which I'm not sure if he's going to do, and
hold on.
actually hold that thought. Things coming in. Can you wiggle your way out of this one,
yeah.
ByuN?
Does he have that kind of grenade finesse to get out of here? I don't think he does.
No, not this time.
No.
No ledges
So,
there.
Look, I mean, it's weird to say. The Reapers, if this was going to be one where he pulls the boys, like sends the SUVs across the map, the Reapers do a little bit of something, you know, even though they are basically obsolete units once you get into any tech past, you know, the starting buildings. To lose that, maybe we won't see an SCV pull. And obviously, I'm sure there's a way to play this without an SCV pull. It's not like, oh, that's the whole build, is you pull the SCVs, but...
Yeah, I'd be really surprised to see an SCV pull at this point, but I do like this as a plan in a best of X series, knowing that DRG watched you play against Dark, just do kind of the same thing, but not exactly.
Yeah.
It's good. It's a very good way of mixing it up. We even saw DRG doing that in Game 1 and Game 2 versus Dark, where he went for the same kind of... The first time a fully committed Ling pressure or the Roach in the Evolution Chamber at the front where it looks like Roaches, and then Game 2, exact same setup, but the Lings are just to attack a little bit, and you drone behind it, try and deny the third base. So really a lot of different players coming through today with some creative plans for their group. You can see a lot of preparation went into Group C, which makes it very fun and dynamic, I gotta say.
So the Marines are going to come out now. A little bit of pressure. We don't have the medevacs over here yet. I would be surprised if he actually commits to stimming through here. But if he does, he's going to have to find an angle where he can kind of loop through and get back out because, you know, if you're stimming without medevacs there, you're really limited. I think the 2 medevacs are almost there to come up here, though, so that's not going to be the case this time around. But DRG's ready. I mean, he's coming down here to address this.
Yeah, +1 infantry weapons not yet done for ByuN, so this isn't really the timing he wants to attack in. Oh, those are some really brave Marines in the front. And ByuN's going to rotate down into the triangle third so he can find some damage.
I mean, this is just never going to work, so he has to pick up. He might try to glide into the main.
I think it was good, though. He lost only 1 Marine, killed, like, maybe double digits of... Oh, wow! 4 overboards! Oh man, he
Oh,
wishes
that's
he
too
could
bad.
get those.
Yeah. If he was able to just kill all those, that
like
would
a
actually
loot
be
chest.
really big.
It's like a loot
loot
chest. This is a gotcha game. That's how Microsoft is going to bring it back.
Yeah. What happens? Well, it drops out a round of 8 match. That's what you get.
It's like for the campaign, like if you kill a cluster of enough overlords, they start dropping like minerals and like caches.
All you got to do is touch them with your Marines. And you get 'em. So he's going to tear down the rocks over here and try to basically pave a path that can give him pretty immediate access. Now, there are no, well, okay, I was going to say, if those links chose to surround that and the medevacs don't get over there in time, you could drop a tank or two. But it seems like he's cleaned this up, and this is like very accessible here for Terran. We're going to get the tank siege up. I don't know that DRG can hold this. Oh my God, and the hatchery just now finishes. Not that it was a mistake to let it finish, but now, you know, with that very small amount of time, he has to figure out, okay, do I just ditch this? And I guess the answer is yes.
Yeah, those tanks were in a really good defensive position. I like the setup ByuN is working with this attack, and these queens, they are high in energy. DRG still waiting for ByuN speed to complete, only 57 drones in total, so his economy, he sacrificed a lot to try and be able to muster a force that can hold this push, but ByuN, he's not overextending. He's waiting for reinforcements to come back in. He's only pushing off of creep, but maybe that's a little bit too far as DRG coming in. Surround on both the tanks, the Banelings get focus fire down, so no connections on the Marines.
Oh, he misclicked there too. I think he clicked on the ground instead of the Baneling, so they actually moved into it. That just gives up such a crucial position. The Bane's still doing damage as DRG just mops up the remainder of what's over there. Does manage to get the tank in the nick of time, but you know, there's no third base landed right now. This is ByuN committed to 2 bases. Doesn't mean he can't get a third base later on, but whenever you see 2 base play like this, you need to actually get things done, or the Zerg is going to have a 4th base like he already does, and then a 5th. And eventually, when you're trying to expand and defend, by then the Zerg has already mustered too much. The economic engine's too strong, and he'll just topple you.
DRG looks like he's gunning for a counterattack now. I think he recognizes the situation, and anything he can do to buy time and slow down ByuN is going to be very valuable for him, as a lot of links flood into the natural expansion. ByuN has to decide exactly what to do. Looking at the minimap, it seems like he's sending some of the units back, perhaps the Liberators, while he pushes the front here against DRG.
Oh my God, DRG is just murdering here. ByuN's going to try to come up, and you know, we'll see how far this push can go, but if he can't, you know, take out the 4th, the 3rd, and the 2nd, I don't think there's any way to win this game.
Yeah, it's all or nothing right now for ByuN.
Yeah. And this looks to me like probably a game 3. I mean, the infrastructure is just getting destroyed. And I think DRG's showing a lot of patience here. He's just staying back, getting whatever he needs to get to deal with this.
Yeah, the standing army for ByuN, it is scary, it is strong, but it's also not getting better, whereas DRG is continuing to macro up, and he says that it's time to go in. These Lings get a big surround onto the Marines. Baneling's coming in for connections. Nice siege tank shots on them, but it's not going to be enough. He's using the Liberators to the best of his ability right now. Almost all of the Queens have been cleaned up, but there's really nothing on the ground to help ByuN.
This game is, I think, basically over. I mean, the Zerg is still operating on 3 healthy bases and a 4th one that can be replenished with ease. The only thing that ByuN could try to do is to float around and find a place to land, only to then pick up again.
Yeah.
Now, he is sending another set of reinforcements. He's not really rebuilding his economy. He's buying time, but I you know, unless I'm wrong about this, it just seems like there's too much in the pipe right now for DRG. I don't see a world where, you know, this small amount that he's recreated, and you can see he's still focused on just remaking that now. I don't see where that's ever going to win him a game.
Especially with 2-2 done against the 1-1 of ByuN. Those Lings are going to trade really well against the Marines, and I feel like we're going to a game 3. I would be surprised. It would be miraculous for ByuN to be able to pull this one out of the hat, and DRG knows it. Going to meet him in the middle of the map. Baneling connections, not the best, but they're certainly better than he needs.
GG. DRG evens it up 1-1. And I'm looking at ByuN now, and I'm trying to figure out how many Cyclones he's thinking about.
See if he starts scratching his chin again?
Yeah. Maybe 6 Cyclones. Now, look, you know, there was a bit of strategic redundancy there from ByuN, where it's like, okay, this is literally the map you did that on earlier. Today.
Yeah.
I just don't you know, the reason why we have best of threes and best of fives and best of sevens and group stages is that it forces players to have a lot of different strategies, a lot of different approaches. It's why we have all these different maps too. And you could see that, you know, I think in that situation, ByuN tried an old magic trick, and DRG had read that book. You know, he knew what was coming and said, all right, well, I'll stop that.
Well, we're going to go to Oceanborn to decide whether DRG or ByuN is going to be the last player from Group C to advance into the round of 8. ByuN looking to be in really good form with these attacks, but DRG, game 2, his defense was on point. Going head-to-head right now. Game is loading up. I started this intro way too early.
I know, and now I got to keep talking. How will I close this out? Who knows? All right, we're ready for this next game. Actually, the last game, DRG versus ByuN.
Club NV, DRG. Shopify Rebellion, ByuN.
Okay. First gas comes down. Is he going to get a second gas, or will he get a second racks? Or do we have a whole other build entirely? I think it is going to be the second racks.
Yeah, it does seem to be that way. One of the nice things about this opening that ByuN has been going for pretty much all year in Code S is that you can really branch out in a variety of different ways, and it's hard for Zerg to get a full grasp on what you are doing, especially because not all terms in the meta play like this. You really have to prepare specifically for ByuN coming into a series such as this one, and you know, he's shown a pretty wide range of openings so far. With these two barracks, he's shown combat shield and stim attacks coming in, where he kind of rotates through and just uses 2 or 3 charges of stim before retreating out and regrouping with medevacs. That's what he did against Dark earlier on. Against DRG, he tried to do kind of something a little bit similar there with +1 and stim, but no combat shields and really wasn't able to find too much damage at all. So it's been kind of hit or miss today in terms of the openings here for ByuN.
Yeah.
And that makes me wonder if he's going to come back and try and do something a little bit more solid and macro-focused, because really he hasn't been trying to take a third base all too quickly in any of these games.
No,
it's pretty much all been aggression.
You're totally right. Sorry, I didn't mean to run over you there. Like, I think that you're 100% right. Like, he's been very adverse to 3 bases. We've had one game that went to 3 bases, and frankly, it didn't go that well. But I will say his 2-base play has been so impressive. Like, he really is able to overpower in ways that look even better than he has in past seasons. Like, some of these ways he pushes in and just carves out a position is pretty remarkable. Oh, he gets a drone kill.
Nice.
Moral victory.
Oftentimes, even with a 2-Rex Reaper opening like this one, you don't find too much damage in the natural expansion. It's really mostly about shutting down any potential creep spread or denying that third base from getting up.
Well, people have just gotten so good at microing drones around that
crazy.
It's like we just expect it to be perfect every time, and when it doesn't happen, it's like, what? This is wild. So he will go down now and start to pressure that third hatch. Is he not going to do that?
I think he only has 2 Reapers, so he'd rather try and get some scouting information maybe. I mean, getting a tumor like this is more valuable, in my opinion, than getting a couple hundred damage done on a hatchery.
Stim is coming pretty quickly here. So
and a second tech lab too. So this is looking like the stim combat shield push without medevacs that we saw earlier on in the day.
Yeah. So look, I mean, I will say it doesn't seem like ByuN has the widest range of builds. And just to be clear, because there might be some people that are annoyed that I'm talking like this, it's very different to do the same kind of aggro timing, maybe somewhat cheesy builds several times in a row than to do like a standard macro game build. Okay, those are very different. Macro game builds are generally meant to that you can run through a system of games over and over again, and usually if you're covering all your bases, you're fine. Where a lot of this is hinged on the element of surprise. But, you know, ByuN did look very scary when he tried this approach.
Yeah, this is either the third or the fourth game that he's gone for this so far today. So there is a little bit of an advantage in that he's shown at least 3 different flavors of the same kind of push coming out. And the response from Zerg has to be a little bit different every single time. If you drone too heavily against this push, then you're absolutely going to get punished by Combat Shield and Stim Marines just charging into your natural expansion, killing your third hatchery, killing a lot of queens. And it might not end the game outright, but it certainly could.
Links come back around. The rally is set to the safe side. And he's not able to deny reinforcements. Well, I guess he's delaying them. He's at least doing that.
So the goal of this push is to try and get as much damage done as possible. Ideally snipe down a ton of these queens, trade favorably with the roaches, and then have a good portion of these Marines stim back out and get home. Because with no medevacs, you're limited on time, and a lot of early queens going down. This is
doing
big damage.
About as perfect of a job as you could ever ask for.
Yeah.
And there's that circular formation we talked about earlier where it's like he has a route to get in, loop through, and get back out. Kind of like a Terran drive-by shooting almost. But, hey, it is cleaned up by the roaches. But what was that, like 6 or 7 queens killed?
It was a good number. DRG went all the way down to 2. And I kind of like that play from ByuN because he recognized that he could actually just trade these units out very favorably. And yes, they will not be able to get home. They will be cleaned up by the reinforcing Lings, but it was worth it in this case. Well, so now ByuN pulling SCVs. He wants to defend the natural. He doesn't know exactly how committed DRG is to this counter.
It seems like this is set up for right before the Zerg gets a layer too, which just makes it a little bit harder to get even more, queens and everything else you need to defend out. So
it's a very good timing.
You're hitting them right at a point of development where it's like they're trying to finish a lot of other things, and so it does make it kind of wobbly for them as the game develops.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite TVZ builds that we get to cast. I love the flow of it, just kind of pushing almost a suicide squad of Marines across the map and trading them out for value, and then behind it you have +1 infantry weapons coming, you have double medevac production, although delayed, and eventually a 3rd command center, and you can play a macro game from there. And if you're not at the top level of Zerg like DRG is, it can be hard to respond to a push like this one.
Right.
And then try to macro up behind it because everything kind of gets derailed. You get down to 2 queen counts, you have to start producing a large number of queens at a time of the game where, as you said, it feels very awkward because you want to get your layer up. You want to start spreading that creep. You also need to be doing injects, and suddenly that energy's gone. Right? So it's a very fun opening. But all things considered, I think I would give a slight edge to ByuN with the amount of damage he got with the queens, but DRG is by no means out of this one. And actually going for a lot of Ravagers back at home. I'm surprised he's committing so heavily into the Roach Ravager style.
Yeah, I worry, especially if there's momentum here from ByuN. He just starts to snipe down all your Ravagers, and, the game can end pretty fast. He is going to unload over here onto this creep blind spot, but it seems like DRG is pretty prepared to take that head on. Is he going to go in the main instead? This could glide just out of the vision, just through the fog of war.
Coming into the main base. One of the downsides of playing this Roach Ravager style is you are not as mobile on the map as you could be. Lings would have already been able to clean this up, but instead 1 queen falls. Fair trade for a couple of Marines, although please get out of there.
Is he moving there?
Okay.
Okay.
He's going to get biled.
Yeah, Nidus Worm.
Oh! He really did watch that Dark series.
Yeah, this is just like 2 guys copying each other's homework.
And then it really is what it feels like.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So we're going to play a back and forth that's not quite as good as the Dark ByuN series.
I love all of the Overlords over the Nidus too to make it harder to see.
Yeah. Well, hey, that's the thing in RTS. Like, you could just, stack a bunch of stuff up there.
No.
Oh, boy.
If ByuN loses another game in the same way, oh, no.
No way.
Oh, my heart is breaking right now.
My Terran main is breaking right now. Here we go.
He goes to the depot just 1 too late.
Yeah, and you can see.
It's not as committed. He's not unloading everything into the main base just yet. Yeah, wanted to actually respond to this drop in. So actually, this is going pretty well for ByuN. He's going to clean up a lot of these roaches. SCVs are getting pulled. We'll see if he continues to trade well. Oh, that's a lot of units, Tasteless.
Yeah, it's a lot of SCVs that have been killed off. The drops have been managed, so he could even bring more in here. Keep in mind, with the Ravagers, if you're able to just get those corrosive biles on those tanks, that's all the work you got to do.
Yeah, that might be it. The start of the engagement went pretty well for ByuN, but the reinforcements from DRG are too much, and he will join Dark. Out of Group C going into the round of 8, and it's a heartbreaker. You'd see him laughing, and I mean, ByuN just absolutely frustrated with that one. Losing 2 games to 2 different Zergs in exactly the same way.
Man,
it's painful.
You know, it's one of those things you got to cross your T's, you got to dot your I's. You have to have vision of your main, especially if you go for a late third base like that. The Nidus is, I think, much stronger against that. You know, you're just developing at a different pace. We're going to be going to an interview here with DRG, and he will be translating. Let's see how he's feeling. He's going to the round of 8.
DRG, you said it'd be a miracle for you if you make it to round of 8, but you did make it happen. Congratulations. Thank you. How does it feel to make it to round of 8?
솔직히 진짜 올라가기 힘들 거라고 생각해서
Honestly, I really didn't think I'd make it.
준비를 많이 했는데
I did make a lot of preparation. I did make a lot of mistakes too.
오늘 잘 될까 했는데
And I couldn't sleep well because I was so nervous. But somehow I made it.
시작은 참 좋았던 것 같아요.
I mean, the beginning was really good for you.
어쩌다 보니까 패승승 그리고 그 이후부터 정말 멀리 돌아와.
Then things started going a little bit downhill for you, and then you had to take a long path to make it to the round of 8. And there must be some disappointment, right?
네, 영호
Oh yeah, definitely.
준비한 게 있었는데
I mean, there was a strategy that I prepared against Dark,
계획이 많이 틀어졌고
but I couldn't use it, and then, you know, my whole scenario kind of failed.
제가 유리한 순간이 많았던 것 같은데
And even in the second game, the third game, there were moments where I had the advantage, but I, you know, let it slip, and I'm kind of disappointed by that.
본인의 스타일에 좀 변화를 꾀하는 저글링 우린이 인상 깊었고
And you went for the Zergling all-in in the first game.
원래 박수호랑 탑이 엄청 공격적이다라고 생각이 좀 들었는데 최근에 스타일 변화를
And usually you are very aggressive in GSL, but you did make a lot of variables today.
그래도 레더나 이런 게임에선 되게 운영을 하려고 하는데
I mean, later matches I tend to
대회다 보니
prioritize macro,
에선 또
but in an offline best of 3,
되게 중요하다고 생각해서
it's kind of hard to go for the same style, so I did prepare differently.
잘 먹히지는 않았네요.
And you know, it didn't really work out well, in my opinion, today. And this year, in the round of 8, we have 3 Zergs. Dark, DRG, Solar. It's the first time we have 3 Zergs in the round of 8. So, what do you think about Zerg right now? The Zerg status.
어렵거든요. 게임할 때마다. 확실히 전 패치 전보다 게임이 더 어려워져서.
Well, after the balance patch, it's actually gotten harder for me. So I feel like it's been easier before the patch for Zerg.
아직도 저거가 좋다고 그래가지고 뭐 잘하면 이기겠지.
I mean, people are saying Zerg is good right now, but I don't really fully agree with that.
또 8강에 진출했는데 D조에 또 예비역 많지 않습니까? D조 예상을 좀 해주신다면요.
So what are your predictions for Group D?
일단 뭐 준호랑 고병재님.
Well, Hero, Gumio,
유력하지 않나.
I think they are the most likely players to make it to round of 8.
가능할지 모르겠네요.
Yeah, that's what I think.
기적을 써놓고
Well, you said that it's a miracle for you if you make it to round of 8, and yet you don't think Sue's gonna make it. I see.
기적을 읽어내면서 많은 팬들에게 또 감동을 선사했는데.
So what a miraculous match today you've shown. So anything else you want to say to the fans?
긴장 많이 하고 올라갈 줄 생각 못 해가지고.
I was very nervous. I didn't think I'd make it to round of 8, as I said before. As for the round of 8 match, I'll try to prepare harder and try to make sure I put a good performance. And I want to thank Ragnarok and Solar for helping me with practice. They've been a great help for me. Thank you guys. Once again, congratulations on your win and your advancement to round of 8. Thank you.
Excellent work, Andy. Wow, this was a hell of a day. A lot of drama. You know, a lot of these guys, well, I mean, except for Dark. Dark, I just kind of expect from to march over, you know, the dead bodies on into the round of 8. But DRG, ByuN, and Astrea, they're guys I'm fans of, right? I want to see them do well. So it's always bittersweet to see that 2 out of those 3 are going to go down. But DRG, I think he had a really, really tough day. And he really did play well. He was able to hang with everybody, including Dark. He almost eliminated Dark. So, you know, I think he's probably not the first in mind when you think of GSL and who could take it. But don't count this guy out.
Hey, he's looking pretty good. Those games with ByuN and Dark look quite impressive. I love the prowess he was showing in ZVZ, which he's certainly going to need to bring to the table in the round of 8, considering how on point Solar has been and ZBZ is. We take a look here at Group D coming up on Thursday. Gumiho, Su, Classic, and Hero. Last hurrah here for Protoss to try and join Creator in the round of 8, but Classic and Hero, 2 of the best to ever do it. Certainly have a good chance. Su, he's been kind of an underdog so far this year. He's trying to come back in a competitive StarCraft 2. Hasn't found too much success, and Gumiho quietly having one of the best years of his career. I gotta say, he's looking very strong. I think Su probably the dark horse in this one, but really anybody can advance.
And Gumiho, you know, this was a guy that used Cyclones more than anybody else.
True.
Pre-patch, what's it going to look like post-patch? Su, probably not going to make it, but I would be pleasantly surprised if he did. I think probably Hero Classic move on here.
I would say Hero Classic or Hero Gumiho
Yeah.
are my predictions to advance from that group, but it should be close. And I mean, one of those things about Gumiho using Cyclones is, well, is he going to really like the new Cyclone that much, though, for his flavor of mech, or is it going to be something that he feels detracts from his play style? It's hard to say.
Well, he's already got all the answers now. He saw ByuN make those 4 Cyclones.
He's just going to do that
and then
build,
another
yeah.
4, and then another 4. He's like, oh, all right, well, the game is solved. In all seriousness, though, I think it's going to be a great group. And look, with Hero playing as well as he is, I think he's got a real shot still to take this whole thing. I think he's another major threat. If you want to watch our show live in the studio, the information is at the bottom of the screen. Buy a ticket. You can buy a ticket on your phone when you get here, but I think it's just a wiser decision to buy ahead of time. They don't. It doesn't cost much. I think it's like $5 or $10.
It's something cheap like that.
It's very cheap. It's just so that, you know, we have a system so that people can reserve their spot and confirm that they're going to be in here.
Yeah.
And
ticket sales, they do close on match day at 7:30 p.m., so that's an hour into the show. So make sure that you get here before then if you want to buy it at the door. Otherwise, you might be out of luck.
Yeah, you might be out of luck. We can't help you. You try to tweet at us. We won't see it. We'll be casting. So just be sure to be ready. Thank you for watching, guys. We'll see you Thursday. Bye-bye.